Welcome to the Dayclean Devotion Queen Podcast. Each week, our podcast episodes breathe life into selected themes from the DDQ Meditation Journal. Hosted by our founder, Najma Thomas, we engage in heartfelt discussions with a diverse roster of inspirational Queen sisters. We explore their unique perspectives, uncover the wisdoms shaped by their journeys, and celebrate the trials and victories along the way. Together, we are creating a woe manifestation space where conversation meets examination and sparks transformation. Hey QueenSiS. This is Najma coming to you with a solo episode of the Dayclean Devotion Queen Podcast. Before we step into our next season of this podcast, I want us to take a moment and look back, because what we experienced during our Conversion Conversations series season was not just a series of interviews. It was a remarkable, beautiful pattern being revealed. We heard from dynamic women at different stages in their life journeys who have left, learned, and returned to reimagine and redesign and remake the systems around them. And while the featured guests were truly unique across every conversation, I still feel like we moved through the same powerful journey in many ways. Now, I had the pleasure of facilitating, of course, and then re-listening to each conversation so I could pull clips and quotes for our DDQmmunity. And the blueprint was so clear as I was looking through and listening through all of these episodes. Once I saw it, I could not unsee it. And I had to take some time to really acknowledge the power of this pattern. So in this recap episode, I'm going to revisit each of the Conversion Conversation special featured guests, so we can intentionally honor the wisdom that was shared during each episode. So first up, we kicked off with my dear friend and confidant, the one and only Jill C. Coleman, recently retired leader in the philanthropic sector. And Jill helped us think deeply about what it means to live a full life of professional service, top of your game, and then redefine yourself beyond it. Now, Jill reminded us that identity is not static. It evolves, it softens, it expands, and it reprioritizes. Now, two big takeaways for me from Jill's episode. I'm going to share a clip. The first is Black Girl Magic is being remixed. Black Girl Magic is being remixed.
And so this is the new Black Girl Magic. It's a smoothness, something that comes easy, nice, and feels good. I think for so many years, Black Girl Magic felt really good for some people. And most of the time it felt best for the recipients of the magic. But now the magic is for us. The magic makers are turning around and saying, we gonna snap our fingers and make this happen for me. So I'm blessed to be in that period. And so I'm changing. I'm turning the magic back on me.
Okay.
So that's what it means when you kind of leave one area for me and come back. So when they meet me, you can expect the magic, but maybe you're not the recipient of the magic. But the magic is still there.
You can look.
You can look at it.
You can try to get some breathe in.
If you're around me.
If I allow you.
If you allow me to be in my presence.
Just listening, I know y'all can tell how much fun I had with Jill. It's always a great time chatting with Jill. But hearing her talk about turning the magic on the magic maker was revolutionary for me. Like it set the whole tone for the year, as far as I'm concerned. It's just such a powerful reprioritization of who gets the benefit of our efforts, the bulk of the benefit. The second sort of aha moment from Jill's conversation was around just refusing to cheat ourselves, like and not being willing to lie to ourselves about what we need and why.
No,
To
I could still sit
execute,
there
you can make
today
it
and write if
happen.
I had to. But I just knew, and I think also that what's important is the agreements that we make with ourselves are the most important agreements. See, because why would you cheat yourself? Why would you lie to yourself? And we do, but it's not a
Often,
good thing. And
often.
so I made that agreement with myself and the Lord, and when they say, okay, hey,
That was
I
it.
can't go back. And the conversations were, "Are you sure?" And I'm sure.
That's
And
right.
then and they said, "Are you, well, couldn't you stay another year if you thought it was needed?" I said, "No, I could not, because of the agreement that I made
With herself,
with
with
myself.
yourself.
So I
Yeah.
could not."
That that statement from Jill was like a call to action for me, sort of reminding myself, listen, you've made some promises to me, ma'am, and you had better keep them, or don't complain about what happens when you don't give yourself what you said you needed and what you said you would do. Just just amazing accountability conversation there. So next we heard from Keisha Rainey, an agriculture consultant and strategist who really understands what it means to move between multiple professional and community spaces and still remain rooted in your own values. I think Keisha helped us to see that navigating systems requires both awareness and intention, that we can sit at tables and build strategies and lead conversations and still take the time to ask ourselves, who am I in this space and who do I choose to be? Now, two big takeaways for me from Keisha's episode. The first was it feels like yes. Like when the work is right, you can feel it.
What I was praying for and how it would turn out.
Yeah.
Like this group, these people, you all of it just it feels like yes, this is what I'm looking for. I never
Oh, it feels like yes.
Yeah,
I love
it feels like
that.
yes. It
I
just feels
love
like
that.
it's not hard. It's hard work, but it's not draining work. Because I mean,
Mm,
the people, and as you know, the people who we work with in this space are just some of the most dynamic,
yes.
transparent, loving people. If they have, you have vice versa. Like I always
Yep.
feel like, oh man, that was great. I wish I saw them more. You know,
And every time, right? Every time.
every
Can I hang out
time.
with them more? Oh, this meeting is too short.
It's
Every
the
time.
conference was one day, and I was like, oh, that could have been
Oh,
3 days.
it's not enough time.
It's
Oh,
never enough.
I just appreciate um, the the way Keisha described sort of her different the different space that she's in now, the way she feels doing work. It's not as though she wasn't doing great work before, wasn't working with great people. It's just that in this space and in this time and with the alignment she's experiencing, it feels different. It feels um, more in tune and in step with her values. And that is just a grand place to land on professionally. I think because it helps us to realign our personal and professional goals and that thinking. Another piece I like from Keisha's conversation is again on this topic of alignment, right? When you're working in alignment, the resources will line up as well. It got real.
And when that September 13th date hit of my last day of work, I took the weekend to just celebrate because it was happening. And then Monday was like, this is it. Like, you're on your own. And not a month later, I was getting a call to be the vice president of the coalition. I was getting a call to do a speaking engagement in Boston. I was getting these calls left and right, and I was like, what is happening? So much so that I couldn't keep up. Like, I was keeping up. I was figuring it out. But I was like, I cannot believe this is the first year. And that I feel like is what is just most motivates me each day. Like that first year was the benchmark to say, like, you can do it because you are backed by awesome people.
Yeah.
People feel like they need your service. People are paying, thank you God.
Yes,
I'm
that
sustained.
part.
And so yeah, I cannot believe it's been a year.
So it can't be an easy thing, right? It's big risk to step out on, the faith that, hey, you've got something that you can present for compensation outside of, the traditional employment model, that consulting is going to work. But Keisha just said it so beautifully that the pieces fall into place, that the work is there and the resources are there, and it's so affirming and encouraging to witness her story at this time. We also sat down with Alana Jenkins Marshall, discussing her journey in the education space and what it means to build something different and liberating for the next generation. She reminded us that learning requires vulnerability and love. Love that is softness, yes, and love that is structure, truth, and care in action. I learned so much from Alana's reflections on how her educational leadership approach evolved as she welcomed motherhood and the courage it takes to create a learning community that respects culture on purpose. I just love how she described, the community that is growing and developing around her son in action. It was so beautiful. But one of the most powerful portions from our conversation for me is when she described the valleys and the highs on her journey. And she talked about her line in the sand when it comes to systems and her peace.
Right? Especially when you're building something new. Every single second, every phone call, everything matters so much. And I am sitting in a piece of very high, very high victories and very low valleys, right?
Mm,
And knowing that it's gonna be okay, right?
yeah.
And there's just a level of peace that comes with that, right? And you're also meeting somebody who has a fight, but also can see how the systems are working so hard to wear us down. And I'm not letting the systems interact with the peace,
Mm,
right? And so it's just kind of knowing that those two things exist in this moment, and that's okay.
yeah.
And so kind of that's the person who you're meeting right now.
It is a delight to meet you. And I'm going to reach out and touch some of that energy of not letting the system interact with my peace. Like you
Hmm.
can't, thou shalt not cross.
No, you
You
cannot
can't
cross,
come. You
right? It is.
cannot cross. Thou shalt not cross this line in this sand right here. Systems are going to system and they can go ahead and do what they're going to do, but my peace is my peace and they can't have it. That was just so beautifully put. So then we shared a deeply honest and powerful conversation with attorney Ajua Hawkins. So my favorite counselor gave language to something that I'm sure many of us feel but don't always say out loud. That the journey towards becoming integrated, like fully yourself in every space, you occupy is a tough journey, and it's an ongoing journey. Counselor Hawkins talked about returning home, about redefining purpose, and about using her voice publicly to demystify the law and advocate for justice. But what stood out most for me from Attorney Hawkins' episode was, first of all, just this unexpected affirmation about planning. Y'all know, if you've been listening or watching this podcast for a while, you know that I love planning. And in the conversation with Attorney Hawkins, she talked about planning and how can you be successful without planning. And it's just so reaffirming to know that, you can plan for the life that you want and desire.
These are your people. We are people, because for a planner,
yes,
I'll sit there
I love
and
it.
Listen. I feel so together
I
when I
know.
know what I'm supposed to do.
Yes. And that's how you're successful. Because how are you going to get things done? How are you going to get to your goal if you don't plan every day? It's all the little steps. So if you don't do it,
Did y'all hear? It's all the little steps. That's the thing. It's not the big thing. It's never
it
the
can
big
be.
thing.
Yeah.
So I am in a really great company, grand company, with my penchant for planning. Thank you very much. But there was another piece from Attorney Hawkins' conversation that I really want to remind myself of and remind you, listeners, of. Like, we get to give ourselves grace every day clean, QueenSiS. Like, every day, the day is clean. We got a clean offering. We have a whole new set of grace that we get to give ourselves.
I do feel that I know I've been through a lot, and I want other people not to feel alone in what they're going through. And they might look at me and say, oh, well, she's dressed nicely, or she has degrees, or she seems to have it all together. And I'm like, I'm just as clueless too. Like, I'm trying to figure out life just like everyone else. So you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. And I feel like, especially in our community, there is a lot of shame.
Yes.
I feel like it's huge. And we
Secrecy.
yes, and we project that onto, our loved ones, our children, and that, first of all, doesn't feel good for your child. And how are you going to develop into your full self if you have a lot of shame projected onto you? So I think that's I didn't even think about that before, but I think that's what it really does for me. Is it helps me to get rid of that feeling of shame, because there's nothing to be ashamed about our choices. Like, we're doing the best that we can with the knowledge that we have at the time.
Say it again, counselor.
Yes, we're doing the best that we can with the knowledge that we have at the time. And you have to forgive yourself and give yourself grace and just keep on with that morning routine, like doing the same thing over and over again to get to your goals, and don't worry about that, just you got to let that go.
So that piece about just leaning into understanding that you're doing the best that you can right now with the information that you have right now, that's golden. It's golden for me. And there's a bonus. Like, ever since I did this episode with Attorney Hawkins, I have been tracking my expenses in a daily ledger. Like, she talked about planning. She talked about every morning checking each one of her accounts and writing down everything that she spends throughout the day. And I started doing that, every dime. And let me tell you, I have uncovered some money stories and some habits from my past that need to be addressed and are being addressed just thanks to these conversations. And speaking of money stories, we closed our conversion conversation season with Dr. Keonda Grant Taylor. Now, she brought us into the world of economics, culture, and legacy through the lens of Gullonomics. I'm telling you, if you did not listen to this session, Dr. Grant Taylor hosted a mini masterclass, okay? You can just thank me later. She helped us understand that economics is not just about money. It's about memory. It's about meaning. It's about understanding how systems were built and whose labor built them and for whom. Her work around neuroeconomics and financial literacy, I am just convinced, has such transformative potential We have got to lean into this for right now and for the next generation. I feel like one of the most powerful aspects of our conversation was hearing Dr. Grant Taylor describe her revamped approach to not just working in the financial system, but intentionally working to make sure the system can work for her community.
I got tired of I don't need any more awards, corporate awards. I don't need it. I don't need any more of that because I got tired of he was saying, "Congratulations, Kianda, you helped the department get this million dollars." I didn't even make myself $1 million. I didn't even make my community $1 million, but yet I'm helping you. So what part of the system or what part of my thinking didn't, hit me that I need to redirect that to my own people? So it's a cognitive dissonance here because this very community that, that you're valuing, you're benefiting off of my labor, they help raise me, you know, they helped raise me somehow, but yet I'm working to help you. So I said, okay, so I said, Lord, help me find a way in which I can educate my people. I was like, and give them time to build up their assets so we can be a part of that system. And, because like now, the, the company, the firm that I work for, the financial plan that I work for, when you realize the year that they were founded, you know, 1860 something, you already know where from. You already know where the compounded interest, the reason why you're able to pay dividends every year, the reason why you're the number 4 firm in the United States, you know why they are able to stay there, because you know where that money was from, and you know the systems that were put in place to allow you to stay number 4, within the top 5, but you weren't targeting the very people that were the assets, the underlying assets that allowed you to stay in that place. So the cognitive dissonance was there, and I have no problem with letting them know now. I knew I grew because I have no problem with educating you why you are there. So don't ask me to go talk to my people and bring them here, but you won't give them time to, develop. You don't, or saying that, Kianda, well, if that industry isn't going a little faster, why don't you look outside? No, 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 no. I'm not there anymore. Okay. I'm not there anymore. If I can't bring my people, you don't need me.
It's like that, like telling the system you mean business, right? I don't think you can ask for anything more when it comes to how you're going to decide to engage with these systems and how we can flip the script and make them work for us. So that was Conversion Conversations. Now, stepping back and just listening to that brief summary of all of these conversations together, I know you can see a powerful pattern. Each of our featured guests were women who did not just succeed within systems. They studied them, they questioned them, they made bold changes, and then cultivated the power to transform them, themselves and systems. And that is at the heart of the DDQ ethos. We are not just surviving, QueenSiS. We are not just achieving. We are living with intention and making space for deep reflection and awareness. We are speaking with clarity and we are building with purpose for an abundant life of our own defining. That's what we're doing. And now we get ready to arrive again, because after conversion comes something new, and we are stepping into a new season of emergence. This is the season where new ideas take full shape and new life is in full bloom. If conversion was about transformation, then emergence is about becoming wholly visible in that transformation. So, if you missed any of the conversion conversations, I cordially invite you to go back, listen, sit with them over the coming days and weeks. I think each one of them holds more than just a few gems that I've covered, and probably a few truths that might meet you exactly where you are and help you get to where you want to go. So as we move into this next season, I encourage you to ask yourself, what is emerging in me right now? I'm taking a break for a few weeks, and then the Dayclean Devotion Queen Podcast will be back for emergence. Engaged, empowered, encouraged, and energized for what's next. I want to thank you so much for continuing to rock with this project. I want to send you all the good energy you need for the time you're in right now, QueenSiS, and hope that you're taking good care of yourself. And continue to share this podcast with your network. Remember, sharing is caring. I didn't forget. Take good care and be well. Until next time.